my name is Lisa Barton, and I'm 45 years old, young. I live in Boston, downtown Boston, and I am a project manager for a furniture company. I'm an interior designer, so I work in office spaces most of the time. When I'm not sitting at my desk, I'm walking around big buildings in town, which is pretty good, except when I'm sore from whatever workout Chris has given me. I've been with my boyfriend for 10 years, and yeah, no kids, so that's convenient. This coming season will be my 10th year. So I found triathlon in 2008, just through the gym I was going to, and was like, swimming, biking, running, I don't do any of those things. Why don't we put them all together at once? No, it's a funny thing. I was, paying for this gym and not using the pool. I mean, I was going and running and lifting and whatever, but I was like, all this money, and I'm wasting it because I'm walking past this pool. So I said, well, someone needs to teach me how to swim. So the woman that ran the swim program was an Ironman Arizona triathlete multiple times. And she's like, well, yeah, and 6 weeks from now, we're going to do a mini triathlon in the gym. And I was like, well, okay, here we go. So that was just how it happened. And it was just sort of because I was feeling like I was wasting my money by not swimming. So yeah, 10 years later, here we are. I love the community, to be quite honest with you. I mean, the fitness is sort of a fun benefit of it, but I've met the most incredible people, and my friend circle has expanded exponentially, basically because of the sport. You and I met through Beginner Triathlete, and that's where it all started. And through that, I met someone else in Southie that wanted to create a team of beginner triathletes. So, and from there, it just exploded. So he created this team. I joined it because he lived around the corner from me, and that was pretty convenient. And then I've just met so many great people from it. The club I joined was Zoom Multisport, and it's, like I said, it was a grassroots thing that started in 2010. And 4 years ago, I became the president of it and sort of really tried to grow it a little bit more from just a social club and really expand out into the market of Boston more and really gather some more troops, and we did a great job with that. We have just under 150 members, so yeah, it's pretty exciting to see how the little tiny team that could has grown and how Boston has really embraced triathlon and how it's really growing in the city, which is cool. And we have our own triathlon in July, so Boston Triathlon. So it's fun to see it happening in my backyard. Thankfully, I retired a year ago because I loved it so much, it was really just becoming a little bit too much for me to handle. So it was time to really turn the reins over to the next group. So, and they've done a great job too, because my coach is Chris Fallu, and we're coming up on our anniversary. I think December 1st is when I started last year. So yeah, it was the reason I went with coaching to begin with was I was actually thinking about retiring from the sport itself. Not because I don't love it, but I just thought, well, maybe I'll try something different. And I thought, well, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to go out high. I'm going to give it my best effort and really see what I'm capable of doing. And friends that are connected to Peak obviously recommended you, and had met Chris really briefly in the summer and was like, oh, he seems like a cool guy, and well, he lives nearby, and well, that all makes sense, I guess. So, it was really that sort of very casual kind of connection. And yeah, and then when we went from there, yeah, he was of course pushing me to start sooner, and I was like, no, not ready. I'm coming off a season, I want to take a break. What? There's no off season, But yeah, we started and away we went. Like I said, I wanted to go out on a high, and these 8 years of just training on my own, I just felt like I was just doing my thing. Like, I'm just not trying to win, I'm not trying to be the best, I just want to be happy and maintain like a really balanced life. And I had worked with someone a few years prior. He was new to coaching, and it was just like, all right, he'll make a plan for me, and maybe I'll talk about different things, but I really didn't embrace that coaching experience. And it was interesting when I started working with Chris, I really started looking inward a little bit more and realized that I didn't necessarily think I deserved to be coached, because I was sort of middle of the road athlete, and I don't know, it was a funny thing that he just sort of brought out some confidence in me because I was starting to see improvement, which is very cool, after, like you said, so many years of like, hey, maybe I can be faster. Maybe I can be stronger. So, I mean, that was like a huge benefit of the whole thing. It's like, oh, wait, I'm seeing something else. And maybe, maybe this isn't my last year, but we'll get to that. But yeah, it was really about initially not thinking that I deserved to be better. So yeah, it was a cool little self-exposure. Chris, he's such a cool and mellow guy. He doesn't go into extremes, like, oh, that was terrible, why didn't you work harder? Or, like, you don't hear from him for a month. Like, he's really consistently there, kind of just in the background. And he has a sixth sense of knowing when something might not be working. Like, we have this great program that we put notes into and record our data. And, I'll put little things in, or maybe I won't. And if a couple days go by, he'll see that, and he'll send an email or he'll send a text like, hey, and it'll be simple. How are things, And that just leads to sometimes an avalanche or sometimes, no, I'm just busy and things really are going fine. But he has a great way of just digging a little bit deeper below the surface. Like, all right, if they are fine, what else can we do? Or no, they're not fine. Well, wait a minute. Well, what's going on? And maybe it's not just fitness related, maybe it's something else. So he does a great job of being interested and sort of working with what's going on and how can we make it better. To get into more of what I love about Chris is his patience. So when we first started, there was so many data points that I wanted to hit and I wasn't. So I was getting super frustrated. I want your cadence to be this, I want your heart rate to be that, and I want your pace to be this. And I'm like, dude, these three things aren't working together. My heart rate is soaring and I'm going too slow and all these things. And so I would get super frustrated. He's like, all right, well, what can we do? Which one of these can we hit? So, things started settling in and the heart rate figures itself out and the cadence starts to feel normal and the pace surprisingly improves. So yeah, it was just pulling all of these different data things together and making it all work to become stronger, faster, better. So yeah, exactly. And enjoying myself, because when we first started, I was just miserable because I wasn't able to be perfect. Like, all right, I'm now spending all this money and it has to be perfect. Everything has to be perfect. And we kind of peeled that away, and it doesn't always have to be perfect. It just has to be fun. This past year I did Patriot half iron distance and I did great. Like really great. So yeah, well, I think we took about we took about a half an hour off of the times that I'd done before. So that was huge. But the major gain was running the entire run, the 13.1 miles. Yeah, and actually running it. I stopped at the water stations quick, did the thing, but I didn't ever hit that point like, I just can't run anymore. And that's what had always happened in all of my other half iron distances. So that was always the goal. And yeah, it was just the coolest thing to have it all come together. Like, holy crap, we can do this. So yeah, just being able to finish was awesome. And it wasn't so much about the numbers. It was really about enjoying the day, feeling comfortable with the whole experience, and then not walking, which there's nothing wrong with, For sure. But when you set the goal, whatever your goal is, like, that's what I wanted. I just didn't want to walk. So yeah, it was awesome. Something about the training, and it's one of those things, like, I don't try to get bogged down with it. I just do it, right? Like, whatever he tells me to do, I do the plan. You stick to the plan. And sometimes I try to think, well, what is this, bike workout doing for me? And then I say, just don't worry about it. Just trust that they know what they're doing. They've created this plan, this program, and it's going to work. So it was just about consistency. And yeah, and it was awesome. I mean, that was my thing, looking at the whole program, start to finish, like, I'm going to put in work as hard as I can because I want to see what the outcome is. And I was so psyched to cross that finish line, feeling great. And then I did feel okay afterwards too. Like, it's so funny you think about that, and I haven't really thought about it. You mentioned it. I don't remember not being able to walk for a week, or, you know, I think I probably recovered pretty well. Otherwise, I would remember that. So yeah, there must be something in the plan that helps you keep going once you cross that finish line. Yeah, the detail in the workouts, I think, is good. I don't think there's ever really been a time when I questioned it and said, well, this doesn't make any sense, you know. You just sort of take it at face value and plug it into the Garmin, or you plug it into your computer to control the bike, and you just go at it. And yeah, there were plenty of times when I wanted to pull the plug and say, this is really not working. But but thankfully those are few and far between, although I'm having a little bit of that right now, but that could be coming off of my little off season. But yeah, no, it was like I said, I just have to trust in the plan. So yeah, Chris does a great job putting in the details on what we need to do. And yeah, I haven't really questioned it much. I want to do more weight training this year. I just want to get stronger, physically stronger. Because as you get older, as Chris has also said, that we need that. I'm an old lady. I'm gonna have issues here soon, so we gotta make the bones strong. So yeah, and he has taken the time to really put a little bit more of that into the plan and explain how to do some different workouts at the gym, which I didn't have a gym membership before, because when you swim, bike, and run, you can swim in a pond and ride my bike and run outside. What do I need a gym for? And he said this year it was required. So, and it's working out just fine. Yeah, coaching and communication it's been great, because I didn't know what to expect necessarily. I do the workout, he sees the data, what's going to happen now? And it was instantly from day one, there was always feedback. And my job it's pretty regular, but there's travel every once in a while. So this past May, a month before my A race, I was basically back and forth to Dallas every week, all 4 weeks. So that posed a big, bump in the road for us. But we made it work, which was awesome, because I was able to find a pool and you can run anywhere. So that worked out pretty well. And of course, my head is spinning. I'm not biking, what's going to happen? And Chris was always there to just, relax. You're going to come home over the weekend and you're going to get the work in. So yeah, communication is key. And it's kind of fun. Like, we have 2 different layers. Like, the emails are more, reaction to whatever happens in the workout, so he'll email back. But every once in a while, I'll send him a text, or he'll send me a text, and I'll know that, all right, and he'll know this is important, So it's cool to have that second layer that I can reach out to him if I'm just having a bad day or something's going on. I can just say, I need you for a second. So yeah, there was one day that, I don't know, something not good was happening, and I just sent a text, and instead of texting back, I think he just knew and he called. So, which was really cool. So it's great to have that open communication, and it's a level of trust too. Like, I know that he cares about what's going on. So getting a coach, I think, it's been such a life-changing experience. And it's funny to say that and really push it to that extreme, but I would say to anyone considering it to make the leap and just give it a try. Because, I could have easily said, hey, this isn't working, and walked away. That's what I think the beauty of Peak is. I didn't feel like I was signing a contract and, I'm going to be forced into this thing for X amount of, period of time. It was like, hey, let's just see how it goes and go from there. And I can't imagine a reason why I would want to stop coaching with Chris. So, yeah, it just changes everything. And again, I don't think Chris is going to necessarily get me on a podium, not for his fault, but, it's just not one of my goals. But I still feel like I'm treated just as importantly as someone that might be going to Kona. My advice to someone that's looking into it is, don't get bogged down in those heavy details of, I'm not going to win, or I'm not going to be their best athlete. Just go into it and be your best self, as opposed to what other people think. So yeah, just find something better about yourself that'll be brought out through the whole coaching experience. I definitely love Peak's vibe. Like, I just feel like it's a cool group of people. I haven't met a ton of the other athletes. I have a couple in my circle, but when I was running at the end of Patriot, I did come up to a girl in a Peak kit. All right, here's another person I'm going to add to my little circle, you know? So we ran together for a while, and oh, Chris is my coach, and oh yeah, Colin's my coach. And it was just, you know, again, like, I like the people. I like being surrounded by like-minded people. So I think Peak has just expanded my little crew, which is really cool.